So there are lots of ways to make speed or momentum when you roller skate, and it doesn't have to be one of these, a T-push, because these are actually really tricky. Now, if you stick around, I have got a little hack for you later to do a T-push when you've got hard wheels on. So anytime you want to move, you need to find somewhere to push from. And I like to think of it as kind of digging into the floor. So when I say that, what I mean is you're going to push your weight onto a smaller area. So when you're standing, your weight is sort of spread between your 4 wheels. But when I say dig in, you're going to put more weight on 1 or 2 wheels. So it will be these inside wheels or these outside wheels. And that's going to create a push so you can push the other foot away from you. I'm always saying that you can create momentum from bubbles. And to do that, I'm using my inside edges. So I'm pushing down hard onto my inside edges, and that is creating this kind of push and pull, and it makes me move forward, and it also makes me get faster and faster. If you think about, okay, so I'm doing rhythm moves and you want to move from static, like, well, how on earth do I just move? So let's talk of a few other ways we can create this momentum. So I'm standing here and I want to move to the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle my feet because that's the direction I want to go in. Now you see straight away I put my feet wide. So when we're going to do a spin, you start wide and you pull your feet in. So we're going to use that same technique to get going. So I'm going to start with my feet wide, angle them in the direction I want to go, and then I'm thinking, right, okay, so I've got to create this push and pull. So this is going to be my pulling foot and this is going to be my pushing foot. Now I'm going to put weight. So if you can do back pulls, this is what I'm doing. And as usual, in true Katie fashion, I do have an entire video on back pulls, which will help you with this. So I'm going to put most of my weight on here, and this wheel is going to push, and these outside wheels are going to pull me. So I'm going to do this, and I'm moving. So you see how I brought my feet close together, like that. So it pulls me along, and this is great because all of a sudden you're moving and you're rolling, and you use this all the time in rhythm. So I'm going to do here. So this is the downtown, and I'm using that exact movement. I'm angling my feet, I'm pushing there. So we use this all the time, and it's a great way to get yourself rolling from nothing, and it gets you rolling fast. So they say a bad workman blames his tools, but actually you might be okay to blame them in this case. So if you're getting this push and you're not getting any roll, it could be your bearings that are causing you the problem. So if your wheels don't have a lot of free roll, what you can do is loosen off the nut. Now, if you loosen the nut to the point where they start moving up and down the axle and they're still not rolling, you might find a change of bearings is going to help you a lot. Stock bearings are made for longevity rather than roll. So they have a very thick gunk in there rather than a nice free oil. So a change of bearings could make a world of difference. Let's talk about this inside push, the T-push that most people do. And it's one of these things that you have to be able to do in skating, because if you want to stroke skate, you have to be able to T-push. And I have an entire video on this. But what we didn't cover was the difference between wearing a hard wheel and a soft wheel, because when you do a T-push using a hard wheel, it's almost an entirely different skill. So let's talk about that. So these wheels are 80A, and to me, these are super soft. I would wear these outside. But they are really, really easy for T-pushes. With these, as long as I've got some weight on this back foot, I'm going to be able to push myself away. Because they're so grippy, all 4 of these wheels are just sticking to the ground. But it does mean that when I push myself away, this foot isn't going to go as fast. Because it's a stickier wheel, some of my power is going to be lost into that softness of the wheel. But if you're learning T-pushes, these are the way to go because they're so much easier. So weight on here and push. So I'm now back in my usual skates. Now these wheels are super hard. These are a 70D. So that's about an equivalent of around 115A. So the little trick is you just take the D scale and add 45 to it, and it gives you kind of the equivalent in the A. So let me show you what happens if I apply the same technique in these super slippy wheels. So I'm now going to do my T-push, just as we were going to do before. So leaning on the 2 inside wheels, and I'm going to push myself away. You see how my wheel slipped? It's because the weight has to be that much more pinpointed. So my weight is going to end up on these two wheels, but I'm going to then pinpoint it to this wheel, and even to the point where I'm on the edge of that wheel. So my weight's almost 70% on this leg, even though this one is rolling away. So I'm here, and then my weight is now on my left leg. So you have to keep so much pressure to hold that slippy wheel into the ground.
So here, because my weight's just spread across those two inside wheels, I slip. But on this one, look how concentrated my weight is on that front wheel, and I almost spring off of it.
So standing here, ready to do my outro, I've just realised that every week I do the exact push I've just taught you. I'm Katie, you've been watching Skatie, and I'll see you next time.